Weddings are supposed to be the ultimate celebration of love. But what happens when things don't go as planned? No, we're not talking about a missing ring or a cake collapse. Imagine the bride, in her stunning dress, deciding not to say I do, at the very moment everyone is waiting for her to walk down the aisle. Today's story is about one such unforgettable wedding day. A day that didn't end with the words, "You may kiss the bride." Instead, it ended with a groom's response so shocking that it left everyone talking. Ready for this roller coaster of emotions? Let's dive in. Weddings are beautiful, unpredictable, and sometimes chaotic. Everyone has their own idea of the perfect day: flowers blooming, heartfelt vows, and the promise of a lifetime together. But what if the wedding day takes a turn that no one sees coming? That's exactly what happened to Elvis and Sarah. Today, we'll take you behind the scenes of a wedding that became unforgettable, for all the wrong and right reasons. The day started off like a dream. Elvis, the groom, arrived early, looking sharp in his tailored suit. His best man, always the jokester, made sure everyone was laughing to keep Elvis's nerves at bay. On the other side of the venue, Sarah was getting ready, surrounded by her bridesmaids. She looked radiant. But there was something in her eyes, a flicker of doubt that only her maid of honor noticed. As the ceremony time drew closer, the venue buzzed with excitement. Guests chatted, the flower girl practiced her walk, and the band played a soft melody. But backstage, a storm was brewing. Sarah pulled her maid of honor aside, tears threatening to spill. She confessed she wasn't sure if she was ready for this. It wasn't about Elvis, he was everything she could have hoped for. But deep down, she felt something was missing, something she couldn't quite explain. The guests had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. Elvis stood at the altar, hands fidgeting, waiting for the love of his life to appear. The wedding planner gave the signal, and the music began to play. But Sarah didn't walk down the aisle. Instead, she walked out into the middle of the venue, where everyone could see her. The music stopped abruptly. Guests turned, whispering among themselves. Elvis looked confused, and the officiant froze mid-sentence. Sarah, clutching her bouquet tightly, addressed the room. "I can't do this." It was as if time stood still. Some guests gasped. Others looked around, wondering if this was some kind of elaborate prank. The murmurs grew louder as Sarah continued. She apologized to Elvis, her voice trembling. She explained that she loved him deeply but wasn't ready to commit. Elvis's mother covered her mouth in shock. His best man looked furious. And as for Elvis, he stood there, staring at Sarah, his expression unreadable. Just when everyone thought the day was ruined, Elvis did something no one expected. He walked toward Sarah, gently took her hands, and smiled. "Thank you," he said. The room fell silent again. What was he thanking her for? Elvis's voice was steady, but his words carried the weight of someone who understood the moment deeply. "Thank you for being honest," he continued. "I'd rather you tell me now than regret this later. I know this isn't easy for you, and it's not easy for me either. But love isn't about forcing the perfect day. It's about choosing the right time." The guests were stunned. Some started to cry. Even Sarah's father, who had looked like he was ready to storm out, softened as Elvis continued. Elvis then turned to the crowd. "I know this isn't the ending we expected today, but maybe it's the beginning of something better. Sarah and I still care about each other deeply. And who knows? Maybe one day, we'll all be back here again, this time, when we're both truly ready." That day, the wedding didn't happen. But what could have been a disaster turned into a story of understanding, patience, and love in its purest form. Elvis and Sarah parted ways that day with no resentment, only mutual respect. And the guests? They left with full hearts, a story they'd never forget, and maybe even a little more faith in the power of honesty. Who knows, maybe someday we'll hear about Elvis and Sarah again, walking down the aisle when the time is right. Have you ever witnessed something surprising or emotional at a wedding? We'd love to hear your stories. Share them in the comments below. We might even feature some in our next video. And hey, if you enjoyed this heartwarming tale, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell for more unforgettable stories. Because here at Harmony Story Haven, we believe every story deserves its moment in the spotlight.